Hey, welcome to another edition of Breaking Protocol from the Razzle Dazzle Show, our ongoing miniseries where we break down key updates and design questions straight from the development of Shade Protocol. These episodes are built around the game's community engagement series Devs Ask You, or DAUs, where Kendall and the team not only show us changing, but invite fans to shape the journey with them. Today's topic isn't a weapon, an enemy, or even a location. It's something much bigger. It's the backbone of how the world works, how replicas think, and how you, as the player, will shape Zura into your own version of a hero. Today, we're talking about protocols. Be sure to follow us and Little Legendary on our socials and YouTube channel, and be sure to join the Shade Protocol Discord server to follow new DAUs, vote in polls, and share your voice directly with the dev team. Links to everything will be in the description down below, and with all that being said, it's Razzle Dazzle time! So protocols are just really here to give the players free expression on how they play. How does that tie into the Metroidvania aspect of the game, in the sense of, like, you know, you unlock an item, you get a new item, therefore you unlock a new door that you can go through. Are there going to be certain obstacles that you can't get through or progress through without a certain protocol combination? Does that make sense?
A little bit, but I would say that the biggest ability gating will come from the instruments, right?
Okay.
Because that's the way we control exploration. However, to not go control me here, because I end up yapping too much on this. But in terms of protocols are, for me, my favorite system in the game right now, because they are a story-driven and exploration-driven system.
Right. It seems the primary system, if anything.
Yeah, it is the primary system for sure. It is not the primary. It is not a progression system, if you think about it in terms of the system progressing the character.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a progression system in the way that whenever you acquire a new component of the protocol system, Zura grew by a lot, right? If you have like 8 functions, right, and you only have one call, so you have 8 combinations, right? Because you only have one on the other side. But the moment that you get a second call, now you have 8 and 2. Now you have 16 combinations, right? So those combinations are where I see the ability of the player to control their destiny, like how are they playing the game. And each of these things, in terms of skill and ability for a player, they have upper limits, right? So the progression comes from the player mastering those protocols and becoming better and better and using them better, versus the talent tree is a literal expression of growth that is more, numbers go up kind of system. So you'll get to feel both. However, in terms of the world, to answer your original question, the idea of protocols for me is whenever, like I said before, maybe there's this replica that's created to be a breaker, right? And there's an entire story and lore about who the breakers were and what they're meant to be and why they existed, and it's like a beautiful lore. And it's a little bit Ender Lilies-esque. If you played Ender Lilies, you get that vibe of like the whenever you defeat a boss in Ender Lilies, like it used to be someone, and you get to see their story. It's kind of that vibe, but with types of entire types of replicas that were created for a singular purpose, and you get to see their story. So how will happens today? This might change, but the current design is, let's say in each biome there will be at least one new set of protocols. And the way it works, let's say in this biome, you're getting the breaker protocol. So in the world, through exploration, there will be hidden areas where you will go and find this, let's say you'll find a robot, a destroyed robot, kind of, I don't know, holding a little girl. Right, and the robot is deactivated and dead, and the little girl's alive and safe. And then you go and rescue the girl, and then you get like 2 or 3 sentences, because Zura knows this, but you don't, right? So she might say something about the breakers, right? And she might say like 2 very cryptic sentences, and then the quest, we'll call it the quest, right? But pretty much this moment starts, right? Of let's go, this is the story of the breakers, and it will tell you you have one of something, and it will maybe look glitchy, right? And it will tell you in the map, you will see these circles, this area circles that are showing up, that are pretty much that protocol calling you, pretty much saying like, find me. It wants to be found. So there are, let's say for the breakers, is in this example, there are two other things that you need to find. So it's three. Once you find three things related to the breakers, you saw the entire story of the breakers, and then you get the protocol. That's how that would work. So one of them might be like this destroyed robot with a little girl. Another one might be like a shaded protocol, like a shaded breaker, like a breaker that actually became shaded, and now it's like needs it's begging you to destroy them because it's hurting people, and it needs to be destroyed. So it's a boss, and you go and fight the boss. Or the last one might be just some area where you get to see like a huge background, and it tells you like a factory where the breakers were made, right? So all those three scenes that you went through this biome to find, once you find all three of them, there's a little bit more that I can't really tell you what happens there, but conceptually you'll get an opportunity to test the protocol, the setup. So we will give you like a tiny little bit of a challenge, where you will use the protocol, so you'll get to know what it is, and then you get it, and then you get it forever, right? So for me, that's a beautiful mixture of constant rewards. You are exploring the world, because finding a protocol is like the most exhilarating thing, because you're getting an entire new game, right? That's the way I see it. I mean, I think people will see it when they get the game. They will get the idea that I just got an entire new game. It's like I got an entire new, Slay the Spire character when I get a protocol, right? So if that's how it feels, it should be something that you want to go get, but it should also be something that drives you to do what the game needs you to do, which is explore and learn about the world. But it's not preachy. We make it so that every time you get to find one of these, maybe you get like 2 sentences of lore. You won't get enough to piece all of it together until you find all the pieces. But the pieces are calling you, so it's not like incredibly hard to find them. Just maybe finding the first one might be difficult, but after that, it's more of a go through the biome, find all the pieces. I call them pieces, right? But it's mostly solving the situation related to this protocol, which might be completely different, and then all of that together gives you an entire new playstyle. So that's how that works. I never answer your question in terms of gating the world.
That's okay. You kind of already answered another question I was gonna ask, but I'll get to it. I'll get to it. Go ahead.
But in terms of gating the world, there's no place right now that we're saying if you do not have like Codebreaker equipped, you can't open this door. We're not doing that.
Okay.
But we are doing, at least not right now, right? But there are rooms that we are designing that we really like, at least conceptually, that room is like a challenge room for this specific protocol setup.
Right, to teach you how to use it, yeah.
Yeah. And then you enter this room, it pretty much like, it's like a kind of, you glitch out and you are forced to use this setup. If you don't use this setup, you can't be in this room, right? So you go in here and you set up differently, and it's an opportunity for you to try a setup you would never try. But it's not meant to be like platforming challenges, because once again, protocols are not about jumping around. Protocols are about fighting all the time. Like that's what they do. So there will be like interesting, and there could be some puzzle things, but most of the time it's going to be this challenge room that is like a reward if you want to go do it, and it will require you to be in a protocol setup that you might not be used to. But it is not mandatory. At least we are not thinking about that right now. But we do have a version of it that you will do, which is like the showcase of the protocol when you get it. You will get like a tiny little tutorial, we'll call it. But we don't want a tutorial out of you. We're just giving you a room where you will have the protocol equipped for a moment, and you will succeed. Like it's a room where you feel incredibly powerful because you have this protocol. When you leave that room, you go back to your prior setup. But in these challenge rooms, it's different. You walk in there and it will tell you, this is, pretty much the only way you can walk in here is if you let us set you up this way, and then you have to defeat what's in there with this setup, which I really like. but yeah, if you're thinking about gating entire biomes because of a protocol setup, right now we're not thinking about that. There might be a DLC maybe one day that we do that to force you to kind of change playstyles, but I doubt that might not be the right philosophy for the game.
Understood. The question you already kind of answered was, since Zura can learn these protocols from other replicas, does that mean every functioning call is tied to a character, a culture, specific part of the world? Are protocols also storytelling devices? And you kind of already answered the question of yes.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. We're gonna meet. Oh man, let me not. I gotta calm down. We will meet many we will meet many types of replicas through the game,
Hmm.
and not all of them we're gonna know their protocol setup,
Right.
right? Like
Oh, okay.
this is not how people introduce themselves. Like they don't go like, hey, I'm Zura, I'm a Dawnbringer. Like they don't speak like that, right? They will, but there are certain things that will get you there, and some of that is like a little bit of like, oh crap, like that's a I didn't expect that, but it's more prominent on the instruments, right? It's more prominence on the instruments. Like the replicas that hold the instruments, um, that is like that is something that will be more talked about than the replicas that have or a specific protocol. Um, but we will get to see both, and some of them would be cinematically spectacular because they are the upper limit of that protocol, right?
Hmm.
And it will hopefully astound you, and you'll think, oh, I didn't think I could do that with this thing, and then maybe that will lead you to start experimenting and going down that route. But they are definitely, we'll call it very high um, examples, very great, powerful examples of certain setups that the player will get to actually have. So it's like a Mega Man X and Zero moment of them showing you what you can become if you go down that path for sure.
Right. And looking ahead without spoiling anything, what kinds of fantasies or playstyles are you most excited for players to discover through this system?
Oh man, I I really want to do things that haven't been done in Metroidvanias. We can't go too deep into that because we can't lose identity and make it so that the game feels like a game that isn't really a Metroidvania, right? We could try to get a little there, but I think so. This combat summoner stuff that we're doing with code, I think it's really special. I think it's a lot of people are going to use it and they're going to have a blast because it's just something that doesn't exist in a Metroidvania today, as in like something that you could do the entire game, not something that you're doing. Kind of like in Silksong is really beautiful because it's like a tool setup, right? But it's something that you're spending and you only get so much and whatnot. And here it's mostly you're in control of when this happens, but you have to do things for it, and then it's all the time. You have these things all the time. So I really like that. But fantasies that I care about, I would like to get a some of the fantasies that have to do with like being like an immovable wall. I like that idea of like, you know, I can just sit here and tank the hell out of everything, and as long as I'm really good at what I'm doing, I'm just impervious to your existence. I'm just gonna sit here and you're gonna kill yourself hitting me, or I'm going to, find a way to resist pretty much everything you do. That is sounds like easy mode is the other way around. It's incredibly difficult to play as a, kind of very tanky forward character that, is not really dodging things. You're mostly dealing with the damage that enemies do. There's a very interesting protocol that has to do with any of that. There's also very high risk, high reward systems that we like for protocols. Like, what if there's a protocol that is related to intentionally losing life, like as in like, your stage of repair, right? And you might say, well, there's a every Metroidvania has some sort of charm that lets you, oh, if you only have one pip of health, you do more damage, right? There's some of that, but in terms of like actual trading your health for effects or things like that, um, and what other things could you trade, right? Because maybe you have a protocol that a function that's what it's talking about that trade, but maybe the call starts uh, trading other things that you can't imagine today. Like what if those trades are drastic? and they are much different than you might imagine right now. It's a simple like health to damage kind of thing. So what other fantasies could do there? I also really like I haven't seen a Metroidvania where you're a healer. I've never seen that. I'm sure they exist, but that's something I would like to see if we could do something like that, where you are more of like that's your role. Like it's a little simpler of a gameplay style, but I don't know. We don't have a good concept of how to execute it, but that would be something I'd like to see. Versus like this constant, always in front of the enemy. There's also like a stealth concept that would like to see if we could do. It's very difficult because there's an entire system for a single protocol. But that's something that I'm kind of excited to do. We have some ideas of how to do it in a way that it doesn't completely destroy the game, and just becomes kind of exciting. Things like that. There's a lot of ideas. There's some ideas from the community that I really like. There's some ideas there that had to do with like kind of vampirism style mechanics where you kind of recover by attacking enemies, and then I thought, well, what if it's not really health that you're recovering? What if there's other resources? And what if, you could use that to do really creative, spectacular things? There's another idea that had to do with like the lore, like finding things in the world, and what if there is a protocol that is about learning, right? And what does that look like? Like a protocol that you have to invest through the game in order for it to become what it's supposed to be, or maybe it gives you like some cool lines if you're using it when you get to certain places. I don't know. Like there's a lot of really good ideas from the community. The challenge is, I'll be really honest, and I think there's a couple people here listening. You guys thought about this too small. the protocol ideas were too simple. We are looking for much more complex. Like, and you might think like, well, something like code is simple, but it isn't, right? It's a functionally new way of playing Metroidvania. So I think like there's some of the list. If people go back to the list, which is available online, of the list that people suggested, you'll notice that I would say 90% of these ideas are really, really good. They're just very simple. They're like, oh, whenever you hit enemies, they take 10% more damage. That's not what we're looking for to do. Even though that might be the final effect, right? Even if that's the final effect, it should be done through some fantasy that the player just feels is new and
the description of Shade Protocol is a cyber fantasy. We want big and bold, isn't that right?
Yeah. Hopefully we get there, right? I mean, I'm sure there will be something that will be more traditional because we don't want to leave people behind.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we can make stuff that feels every time you're switching your function, the change is incredibly drastic. That's a dream for me, because then people are getting if they only stick to one call, they get 8 different games, right?
Right.
That's how I think about it, and that's not to say that you ruffians won't come up with some idea and then we will do like some I don't know, like holidays DLC, and we'll add 2 more words on each side, because at that point it's very easy for us to add more protocols. It's an incredibly scalable system, right? So it's giving us the ability to give the community more ways to play the game with very, very little effort in the future. But yeah, more to come on that for sure.
Shade Protocol continues to be shaped not just by its creators, but by its community. Whether it's refining how story is told or rethinking player immersion, every DAU opens the door to deeper collaboration. This has been another episode of Breaking Protocol from the Razzle Dazzle Show. Want to help what Shade Protocol becomes? Join the Shade Protocol Discord server to follow new DAUs, vote in polls, and share your voice with the dev team directly. Go follow Shade Protocol on Kickstarter, and if you like this breakdown, check out our past spotlights and interviews with Kendall right here on the Razzle Dazzle Show. Remember, the future of Emeria is still being written.